This is a compressor, Four Seasons 58152 that I got off of eBay March of 2020. That was $55 shipped. I didn't need it. I knew I would. I live in Florida. But for that price, buy it when you can. What I have to do is, I believe from the top, I'll find out when I go down there, is actually the manifold that bolts, the manifold with the hoses that bolts on. You want to flex 10 millimeter to take that bolt out. It's underneath the manifold. I don't think you can get a ratchet between the manifold and that bolt right there that goes to. Also, the rear one's between the frame. You're going to want to use that on there. It's just starting to rain out. It's going to thunderstorm real quick. So I'm going to get some show the stuff on top I have to get. Then on the end of the tensioner to take the belt off, 1/2-inch drive. This is a flex one. You probably need a flex one. It's a pretty long one. That should be easily to get that off. But that's what I have to do. And on the bottom, hopefully, it looks like it's really simple. We'll be getting back to that real soon. And to ease getting the compressor out, I'm going to take these two bolts off. I don't know what size they're, maybe 19 millimeter or 3/4 or something. And it's pretty hard to see, but that bolt right there is the one that's between the frame and it's between the frame, so I'm going to use a flex 10 millimeter on that. And it's just take off two other bolts down here. I'll take this one off last. It's easy to get at. Unplug the connector right here after I unbolt the manifold with the hoses on it. It's just slide it right out the front. I didn't even need to bring out the Freon sniffer. The compressor's just covered on oil. You can see the leak detector, UV fluid. Where's that bolt? I'll go over here. And right there's the bolt that's between the frame and the end of the bolt's only like 2 inches at the most, it looks like. So I'll use a flex box end ratchet on that. And of course the hose manifold above. Then take the idler arm off here, and it gives you so much room. You just take these two bolts out. They're probably like 3/4 or 19 millimeter. This just drops completely out of the way, so you can just pull the compressor out through here. There's plenty of room then, otherwise you're fighting it. And unplug the connector. It's like right on the bottom there. So it's take out like this bolt last. Easiest to get out is right here. This bolt take out last. I can hit that with the electric ratchet. Then I don't think it has the sleeves on the compressor that line up with the block. Help you line it up. I'm sure I'll pull them out of the old compressor and put them in the new compressor. Impact to bust loose idler arm. That's tight, that's good. So I'll be able to just drop off the compressor from right here. Like I said, on two-wheel drive, this rear bolt is between the frame. That's where I have to use a 10 millimeter flex box end wrench. And there's so much room here. I guess on four-wheel drive, it's open to the sides here. I'll probably go to the junkyard and confirm that, take a video on them at a junkyard. And I know on like 2004, 2008, they have a cooler right here on four-wheel drive. This isn't here, right? So that's blocking it. People were taking out the fan and a bunch of crap. I heard you could just unbolt the two like 8mm bolts on the cooler and move it down, and it gives you plenty of room to get through right here. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, this bolt is supposed to be 10mm. It was actually 12mm, so I've been playing with that. First thought it was maybe 11. It's actually 12. This is the one that was off the cover right here, and I'm going to put it on there. It just looks like it might have been leaking around here, but the seals are kind of falling apart. Kind of weird. I don't know what that's about. Them seals should be good. They still compress. It might have been leaking from there because it's way up here. You can see the old oil. And it was tight. The bolt was tight, so I know it wasn't loose. But that's alright. This one's pretty nasty looking anyhow. I put the bag on it so I don't get any crap down inside of it. There's oil in it. It says 3 ounces on the sticker right here. So I'll add another 2 ounces through the hose with just a syringe. I got a syringe around here. Oil right here, peg 46. There goes the socket, and never mind. I'll just, through the open hose, just fill it full of, put in like 2 ounces here, probably around right there, and inject it in. I might well, right now the other hose is off, so it should, once that's the valve's pushed in by the hose, it should just drain down, and that should be okay then. If you had the sealed system, it might not want to drain down, or it might take a long time because it'd have to get the air bubbles out of it as it drained down. So we'll put in a couple ounces. I got some stop leak. I always put in like a 1/4 ounce. It says add a 1/4 ounce. Put in a 1/4 ounce. You don't need to do that. I just do it anyhow. So we'll get the compressor back in, clean off the hose manifold underneath there where the hoses go. It looked like I cleaned it off good. I'm going to take some brake cleaner and spray it up in there and make sure it dries before I bolt it back up. You should be able to stick the manifold, the hose manifold has a cut in it, so you should be able to stick this on there. This is on like 2 turns, so you don't have to fight it. You should be able to put the manifold on and stick it on there, and then you're able to tighten it up. Once I get the manifold close, I'll just rip the bag out of there. And there's the U-groove for the bolt, so if you turn it in a couple turns, you should be able to slide that in, and then you can tighten up the bolt without fighting with it on it. Spray that out with brake cleaner, let it clean, let it dry. Yeah, the old compressor didn't have them sleeves on it that line up with the block. That makes it handy for lining up the bolts, so I'll be fighting with the bolts getting them lined up. Yeah, don't forget to put the connector on when you put it up in there either. Yeah, right there's, I'm using the 12mm bolt. I had the baggie on it. Once it was lined up, it lined itself up. Once I slid the compressor back in there with the 2 bolts that you need to have in there so it'll clear the cross member, I just ripped the baggie out of the way, tightened up the bolt. Well, now I'll tighten up the bolt. It's cleared enough without any of the, there's one of the bolts right there, without any of the compressor bolts in, I'm able to get at that bolt. So I'll tighten that bolt up, jump underneath, tighten up the 3 compressor bolts. I used my Harbor Freight vacuum pump that hooks up to the air compressor, vacuumed it down for about an hour. It wasn't leaking. Filling it full of 134A. Bought that off of Craigslist for $80 new, full of 30 pounds instead of like $5 for 12-ounce cans at Walmart. That was a no-brainer. If you do your own, get a big tank of it. Get off Facebook or Craigslist for cheap.